What's going on, people? Tony here with another episode of Comic Zone. This week we'll be looking at Secret Wars. Let's do it. Alright, so let's start things off with 1602 Witch Hunter Angela. Out of all the Secret Wars books that have been released, this has been my least favorite. However, with the second issue, things begin to pick up as Angela and her companion Sarah are on the trail of another witch breed. Along the way, they meet the 1602 versions of the Guardians of the Galaxy, which I thought were handled in a pretty entertaining fashion. I'm not sure if this was the case with the first book, but there were several instances of fourth wall breaking moments in the issue, which seemed kind of weird. It makes you wonder if this will continue to happen in the future. I absolutely love the art style from Stephanie Hans, who has a very painterly look about her work. It's also a bit on the abstract side, which was pleasing to my eyes. I'm glad this issue turned things around for me, and I look forward to the next one. Next up is Age of Ultron vs. Marvel Zombies 2. This issue serves as a way to introduce us to Salvation, which is an area south of the Shield where those who were banished to this wasteland can live in peace from marauding zombies and robots. It was built by the original Human Torch, Wonder Man, and the Vision, who were all created by Ultron in some form. They tell the 1872 Hank Pym how they rebelled against the insane Ultron and need him to ultimately defeat Ultron. This issue is fun in that Hank Pym has no idea what some of the terms these advanced allies of his use. For example, he says idiotic for ionic and pronounces artificial as artificial. However, the survivors of this land are placing their bets on him figuring out how to defeat Ultron. The issue ends with an interesting plot twist that threatens to alter the name of this very book, but we'll see how things pan out in subsequent issues. Any book starring Deadpool is going to be hilarious, and Deadpool's Secret Wars is no exception. This third issue, just like the previous two, is told in a non-linear way. The present has Deadpool, who looks like Tom Selleck thanks to being rejuvenated, trying to bring the heroes back from the dead with the help of the alien girl, Zazie. The past takes place not long before the present, and here we see Deadpool in the middle of some memorable moments from the original Secret Wars. The funniest bit is when he dons this symbiote costume and makes it take various forms. This series is fun because it actually has the original Secret Wars in it, and reading it is a nice nostalgic trip for those of us who read the book. Only, of course, it has Deadpool, making things even more entertaining. Another of the weirder stories coming out of Secret Wars is M.O.D.O.K Assassin, which has M.O.D.O.K of Killville teaming up with a Thor named Angela, who he has actually fallen in love with. This issue is non-stop action as Angela and M.O.D.O.K defend themselves against the Assassin's Guild, who have put out a hit on M.O.D.O.K for killing Bullseye. M.O.D.O.K has fully accepted that he's in love with Angela, whereas before he was unsure what he was feeling. This is still a point of comedy since it's obvious that Angela doesn't reciprocate those feelings. This issue is basically a giant kill fest, and it works well in that regard. Seeing all the various ways Angela and M.O.D.O.K kill their foes provided endless amusement. I'm enjoying this series a lot. However, I'm hoping the next issue will start to explain why Thor is unable to pick up her hammer, since that is the big mystery at the moment. Speaking of Thor, let's talk about Thors number 2. Being that the Thor Corps is essentially Battleworld's police officers, it's fitting that the series dedicated to them feels like a cop show. Ultimate Thor is still trying to solve the mystery of the Jane Foster murders, while also trying to figure out who killed his partner, Beta Ray Thor. This issue has a good mix of action and detective work as the Thor try to figure out who killed one of their own. It's always fun to see Thor smacking people around with his hammer, let alone a whole legion of Thors doing the same thing. We're also introduced to a fallen Thor who is probably the closest we have here to the main 616 Thor seen just before Secret Wars began. The issue ends with introducing Ultimate Thor to the person who is most likely to be behind all of this and who was seen last issue, Loki. The pace of this book is slow and deliberate, but it also gives us good action as well. Big thumbs up here. We end things off with X-Men 92 number 2. Now, this is a series I personally love because it really feels like a continuation of the X-Men animated series from the 90s. This issue has the X-Men going to Clear Mountain Project to find out about the facility which is run by Cassandra Nova. We see that the place is set up to reform dangerous mutants so that they can be true role models for society. Of course, looks can be deceiving, as Cassandra Nova is actually an old villain from Charles Xavier's past who has nefarious purposes in mind. We see a battle in the astral plane between Professor X and his foe, which was really nicely done. This issue ends with the X-Men about to undergo the same treatment as some of the reformed mutant villains, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. Alright, and that's another episode. Please let me know what you thought of this week's Secret Wars books in the comments down there. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.